Hey, this is Gabriel Castro from exoticwoodpen.com. Welcome back to my shop. In this video, we're going to be doing part 2 of the bespoke fountain pen of the body. So stay tuned and we'll get started. Okay, for part 2 for this pen, the body is going to be 3/8 inches and going to be exposed, or this section right here where the thread is, that's going to be 3/8 of an inch. So the body that's exposed is 3 inches. And we're going to use a few different materials. We're going to be using some clear acrylic, 7/8 of an inch. And then that's going to be for a clear view window right here. We're going to have 3/8 of an inch exposed. And a 1/4 inch on each side is going to be for a tenon that's going to hold things together. We are going to use 1 3/4 inches of Redwood Burl and the same amount of brass cut off from a Sierra pen tube. And that's going to line the inside of that to make things nice and stable. Okay, so this is going to be the start of the body. First things first, I've got this blank here that I cast. This is just some clear PR resin. I've got a hole drilled in the middle, as you can see, and I wet sanded that out using micro mesh. This is for the clear view ink window, and it is drilled out to 11/30 seconds on the inside, and I'm going to turn it down to an exterior diameter of 25/64. And polished it inside and out just to be sure that it was clear all the way around. And you can see it's pretty clear. So okay, just like in the first part where I made the cap, I've got 3 pieces of brass here drilled out and marked. I'm just going to cut those out on the bandsaw and then glue up the blank. Off camera, I rounded off the body and I added the brass washers that I made just to speed up some time. And then that is going to go on here like that. And then I have another brass washer to put over here. And then we'll make the rest of the body, and then things will progress a lot faster from here. Okay, so this is going to get glued on like this. I'm going to epoxy that on overnight, and then I'm going to make the front section tomorrow. Okay, this is a scale drawing of what I'm working with here, and you can see how long this is. This is for the section. This is the part here that holds on the cap, the threaded section. This is going to be 3/8 of an inch, and then that's going to be a 1/4 of an inch. And you can see right here, this is a 1/4 inch tenon. So this is actually going to slide on over on top of that. This is the body here. And then we need to make the tail piece, which is going to be 1/2 an inch. And it's going to have a 7/8 inch tenon that's going to fit inside the barrel. And that is going to grip this end piece here. So we'll get started on that next. I forgot to turn the camera on here. So anyway, I turned this down to 14 millimeters. And that's a 3/8 inch tenon, and I'm not going to touch this 1/4 inch part right here, but I am going to cut the threads real quick, and then I'll drill out the inside. I'll tap that to receive the section. So first we'll do this part. So in the die holder, I've got the triple start threads here, and you've seen this before. To lubricate that as I turn it. Nothing cuts like ebonite. So much better than acrylic. Okay, let's just test that real quick. Okay, you see how that threads on there. On the inside of the cap, I relieve that edge on the inside, so I don't have to go over here and on the side of the threads and relieve a shoulder, because I did that already over here. But I am going to turn off a little bit of this. It's about probably 1/8 of an inch, so that it sort of slides on a little bit easier when I cap it. And it will just make the putting the cap on a lot quicker, less rotations. But I need the 3/8 for stability when I put the section in. Okay, now I'm using a 10mm by 0.75 tap for the section. And I can't go in very far with this one because this one isn't drilled all the way through, because this is not a bottoming tap. So if I try to force it all the way through, I'll end up stripping the threads on the inside. So I don't want to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to switch back to my homemade mandrel for the triple start thread, and I'm just going to reverse that because it's threaded on the inside. And that's the cool part about using ebonite. It's stable, and you don't have to worry about it twisting or warping like with wood. You can use seasoned wood also, and then in some cases, after a while, that wood will just warp with the temperature or the humidity. But I've never had that with ebonite, so it makes it a lot easier to use. So now I need to drill this out. I need to face it first to make sure it's nice and square. And I can only drill down, I think we're using a 25/64 to accept that clear, but on the inside it is 23/64. So it's just a little bit bigger here. That's why we couldn't drill all the way through, because trying to line up the drill bit going back, if the hole's already through, it's not going to line up and you're going to get a jagged cut. Okay, so here we are at the lathe again. We're getting ready to turn this last piece right here, which is a 1/2 inch by 7/8 inch tenon, and that's going to be 7/8, and we're going to drill that out. No, I'm sorry, this is going to be the exterior dimension of that is going to be 25/64. So basically it has to fit inside a brass Sierra pin tube. So that's going to be the inside dimension of that hole is going to be the outside dimension of that tenon. Okay, that's turned down. This is my pen tube. And no play at all. Nice and snug. And then now we need to drill that out. Okay, so now we're going to drill this out to 15/64. That's going to be the inside of that tenon. And that's what's going to hold the end of the converter. Okay, so there's that piece right there, and I'm pretty happy with the way that came out. Now this is only going to be about 1/2 inch long, so we have a little bit of waste over here on the back, but we'll worry about that later. I'm just going to square this up and put a dimple in it so that when I turn it, everything will line up nice and straight. Okay, getting ready to turn this down. I'm going to turn this down to about 9/16 on the front end and then just shape it all the way back to right about here. There's a line right there, but it's a little hard to see. And then we'll part that off, and we're just going to get a nice taper with that on the way down. And because there's brass here, I'm going to be using carbide to turn that down. Okay, so now the part comes of wet sanding. I'm not going to be able to put a live center on this over here because this has been sanded down and smoothed out, so I don't want to put a dimple in that. So I'm going to have to finish this part first, then put this in a 4-jaw chuck, and then finish this part separately. So, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that off camera, otherwise this will be a really long video. Okay, so here we are at the end of the video. Let's recap what we did. This is the basic part of the body, clear view window, the cap forward section, 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch there. This is this length right here of 1 3/4 inches. And this is that tailpiece that we made that goes in here like that will be gripping this section of the converter.